My beloved child, quiet your heart in this season. For not every great work begins with the sound of a loud trumpet, and not every deep transformation needs a radiant scene to prove that I am moving. There are seasons when I carry you quickly, seasons when I open doors one after another, seasons when everything moves so fast that you feel as though slowing down even for a moment would make you miss something. But there are also seasons when I set you down in stillness and hold you there for a long time, not to block your path, but to make what has been planted within you become firm and steady. My child, this is not a season of display. This is a season of depth. This is not the time when I ask how many new things you can begin, but the time when I gently look to see how well what you have already begun can stand when emotions no longer lift it, when praise no longer echoes, and when results have not yet appeared before your eyes. Do not think that slowness is a sign that you have been forgotten. I do not measure your life by speed the way the world does. I measure it by quiet maturity, by your ability to keep walking even when no one applauds. By the way, you keep your heart upright in ordinary days, by your faithfulness to the small thing I have placed in your hands. There are things that look very right on the outside, but do not yet have enough roots within. There are choices that began beautifully but have not yet been tested by time. There are promises you once spoke in a moment of awakening, but I want to teach you to keep those promises even in weary afternoons. Therefore, I am not in a hurry with you. I am not building you for a fleeting moment. I am building you for long years, for harvest seasons that can nourish many people, for a life that does not merely shine once and then go out, but burn steadily with a pure and gentle flame. Remember this, time is a stern but just friend. It is not enchanted by grand declarations, not moved by temporary emotions, and it does not bow before enthusiastic beginnings. Time simply asks in silence, does this still stand? Is your heart still tender? Are your steps still moving in the right direction? Is your obedience still clear when there is no reward in sight? And when you are still there, still choosing what is right, still watering the land I have entrusted to you, still caring for the good I have placed in your life, then time itself will testify that I have trained you not through noise, but through endurance sanctified day by day. So do not see staying as a punishment. Staying does not mean being stuck. Staying, when I tell you to stay, is a form of trust. There are times when you must leave in order to be healed, times when you must let go in order to be set free, times when you must step into a new land because I have called your name from ahead. I know those seasons, and I have been with you through every turning point. But right now, what I am teaching you is not the art of leaving, but the grace not to leave the place you do not yet need to leave. There are healthy connections that need time to become deep. There are good works that need repetition in order to bear fruit. There are small disciplines that must be kept through many silent days before they become inner strength within you. If you keep pulling up the tree every time the sky changes color, how will you ever see the day when its branches give shade and its sweet fruit ripens fully? I know that what is new has a strong call. It can make you feel as though you are moving forward, changing, escaping monotony. But not every new thing is my invitation. Sometimes the new is only the way anxiety dresses itself in hope. Sometimes you want a change of scenery, not because I am leading you onward, but because you are tired of patience. Sometimes you want to begin again, not because the old thing has ended its season, but because you have not learned how to stay long enough to see the seed break open. I do not condemn you for those stirrings. I understand you. But I want you to discern. My peace does not always feel like excitement. My guidance does not always come with dazzling doors. Many times, I lead you with a very deep stillness, a gentle certainty, a small and quiet voice that tells you, keep going, care for what I have entrusted to you, be faithful for one more day. My child, endurance does not mean that you must tolerate everything that bends you out of shape, dries you up, or causes you to lose the purity I have placed within you. I do not call you to stay in chaos and call it faithfulness. I do not tell you to embrace what wounds you and then call that virtue. What I am speaking to you about is endurance in what is right, in what has been aligned by peace, in what is confirmed by good fruit, in the order I have established. Endurance is continuing to love what is good, even when no one recognizes it yet. Endurance is keeping your word, even when you would benefit more by breaking it. Endurance is doing your part with a clean heart, not turning silence into bitterness, not turning waiting into complaint. Endurance is saying yes to days that do not feel special, because it is often in those days that I shape you most delicately. Remember Ruth, the woman who walked through loss, but did not allow loss to define her character. When the road ahead did not seem promising, when her old homeland could have offered her familiarity, she still chose to stay with Naomi in faithful love. That choice was not loud. There was no crowd cheering, and there was no clear guarantee for tomorrow. She simply walked, step by step, on a humble road, then gathered leftover grain in the field as someone who did not despise the small portion of today. But it was in that ordinary field that I opened a story greater than she could have imagined. What she thought was only loyalty to an aging mother became the bridge that led to restoration, honor, and a place in the sacred flow of my plan. Do you see? I often hide great turning points inside very small actions, and I often place tomorrow's miracle within today's unseen faithfulness. Therefore, do not despise your ordinary days. Do not consider waking up, praying quietly, working with integrity, caring for what has been entrusted to you, keeping your words gentle, refusing what is easy, continuing to learn, continuing to love, and continuing to sow good things as something trivial. In my sight, no act of faithfulness is small when it is offered with a sincere heart. Every day you choose what is right is a stone placed into the foundation. Every time you are patient before seeing results, a root goes deeper into the soil. Every time you do not chase after the call of impatience, you give me more room to do something lasting within you. My beloved child, there is a very gentle healing that you often overlook, because it does not come with loud sounds, does not take the form of a strange event, and does not require a sacred scene that makes you tremble before you believe I am touching you. Many times, healing begins in what you once considered too ordinary, a morning when you wake up and no longer rush to chase the day, a breath in which you realize you are alive, a meal you enjoy without letting your mind run ahead of your body, a night when you sleep deeply as though placed back into the arms of peace. You thought I only healed you in faraway places, through radiant signs, through words that make heaven and earth move, but I want you to know that I also heal you in the quiet room, in the steady rhythm of daily life, in the moment you stop forcing yourself to be stronger than you truly are, and in the time you dare to say no to what drains you inside without condemning yourself anymore. I did not create you to live as someone divided into many pieces, one part moving forward while another part is left behind, your mouth speaking peace while your body remains tense like a stretched string, your mind wanting to trust while your pace of life is filled with fear. I am bringing you back to wholeness, where what you believe, what you choose, what you feel, and how you care for yourself no longer fight against one another. When you learn to listen to your body with wisdom, you no longer see signs of weariness as enemies, nor do you consider the need for rest to be weakness. You begin to understand that the life I placed within you must be nourished by very real things: slowed breathing, respected sleep, food received with gratitude, boundaries kept with gentleness, and quiet spaces treated as sacred gardens where I can sow peace. From that foundation, restoration is no longer something you struggle to grasp from afar. It becomes a quiet stream flowing through ordinary days. You will see that you are being healed, not only when tears fall before the altar, but also when you no longer rush to prove your worth through exhaustion. You will see that you are being healed when you no longer receive every invitation as an obligation, when you no longer treat every need of others as a command that must be answered immediately, when you no longer fear that if you stop, love will leave you. I am teaching you a gentle truth. You do not need to be emptied in order to be useful. You do not need to lose your peace in order to prove your faithfulness. You do not need to forget yourself in order to be called loving. And when the life within you is placed back into order, I will not allow that restoration to remain still like a hidden treasure. What I heal within you will gradually spread into the way you love, the way you choose, and the way you walk among others. A restored person does not love out of panic. That person loves through presence. A person who has learned to rest in me does not choose from pressure. That person chooses from peace. A person who has stopped despising healthy needs will no longer force others to guess their pain. That person knows how to speak truth. Ask for help. Step back at the right time. And move forward at the right time. Do you see? True renewal does not only make you feel lighter, it makes everything you touch become more whole and pure. There is a very quiet moment, yet deeply important, in the hidden places, when what I am doing inside you begins to appear through small daily decisions. Life does not always change direction with thunder or with an unexpectedly wide-open door. Many times, a new direction is formed through choices that seem simple. You choose to sleep instead of continuing to push yourself. You choose silence instead of answering from a wounded place. You choose a peaceful meal instead of swallowing food hurriedly in anxiety. You choose an honest conversation instead of continuing to pretend you are fine. You choose to stay with what nourishes life instead of chasing what only gives you attention for a moment. These things are small in the eyes of the world, but before me, they are precious stones placed into the foundation of a new life. You once asked me, which thing is right? And that question is not wrong, because one who loves the light always wants to walk in upright ways. But now, I am leading you into a gentler depth. You begin to ask what truly nourishes the life I have placed within you. What helps you open in love? What keeps you near peace? What makes you gentler, wiser, and more truthful? That question does not lead you away from obedience. It makes your obedience alive. You no longer choose only because you fear being wrong, but because you love what is good. You no longer walk like someone pushed by pressure, but like someone led by a soft wisdom growing within you day by day. The renewal I give you does not turn your life into a cold list of rules. I do not replace old chains with new chains. Nor do I call you out of exhaustion only to lead you into another kind of exhaustion dressed in moral clothing. What I am sowing within you is sacred sensitivity, an ability to recognize what carries the breath of life and what causes you to shrink, close up, and dry out. In the past, you may have chosen because others expected it, because praise made you feel safe, because something seemed reasonable and made you believe you had everything under control. But now, you are learning to pause before saying yes, learning to recognize peace before stepping forward, learning to let the life inside you speak instead of letting fear decide for you. Remember Elijah, who once stood before great confrontations and witnessed my power revealed mightily, yet afterward fell into deep exhaustion beneath a lonely tree. I did not come to him with heavy rebuke. I did not force him to stand immediately to prove his faith. I let him sleep. I sent an angel to bring him food. I touched him with care that was very concrete, very gentle, very close to the needs of an exhausted human being, before I led him to the place where he would hear the next calling. I restored his strength through rest and nourishment. Do you see? Even one entrusted with a great mission needs to be cared for in basic ways. I do not despise your sleep. I do not take your meals lightly. I do not overlook your weariness. I am the Father who knows what you need before you even have enough words to express it. Therefore, do not see your healthy choices as small. Every time you choose what brings life instead of what only creates an impression, you are stepping deeper into the freedom I have prepared for you. Every time you choose peace instead of haste, honesty instead of pretending, boundaries instead of losing yourself, rest instead of exhaustion, you are partnering with the restoration I have begun. I rejoice when I see you no longer punishing yourself for needing support. I rejoice when I see you no longer treating softness as weakness. I rejoice when I see you beginning to trust that a life touched by me does not necessarily have to become louder, but it will surely become purer. I want you to understand that a limit is not a wall against love, but a fence protecting the garden of grace. A garden without boundaries will be trampled, even if it contains good seeds. In the same way, what I am restoring within you needs to be guarded with wisdom. You have the right to clearly say what you can do and what you cannot carry. You have the right to discuss deadlines instead of silently staying awake all night to compensate for someone else's lack of order. You have the right to ask for more companions, more resources, more time, and more clarity, instead of using your own strength to fill every gap. I do not rejoice when I see you exhausted in silence and calling it sacrifice. I rejoice when I see you faithful yet discerning, loving yet awake, serving while still remaining in the rhythm of life I have set for you. There are healthy relationships that will not fall apart when you speak honestly about your limits. On the contrary, they will become clearer. If a connection can only stand when you always say yes, always take on more, always stay silent, always shrink your legitimate needs, then you need to let me shine light on that connection. What is right will be able to withstand truth. The person who truly loves you will learn to listen when you say you need adjustment. Work that is placed in order will not demand that you trade your peace to prove your worth. So, do not be afraid of clarity. Clarity does not remove grace. It gives grace a lasting place to dwell. But along with outward pressure, you will also face a quieter challenge: comparison. You will see others moving quickly, speaking loudly, appearing often, being named, being noticed, being praised. And in a weak moment, you may ask yourself whether you are moving too slowly. You may begin to doubt the pace I have taught you. Begin to feel that peace is too quiet, endurance too plain, faithfulness too hidden. When that happens, return to me before you return to old ways. Comparison is a narrow doorway that leads you out of my rhythm. Once you step through that door, you will begin to chase what was not assigned to you, carry a speed that does not belong to you, and lose the stillness I have cultivated within you through many months and years. My child, I do not lead everyone along the same path. Some are called across wide-open plains. Some are led through hidden valleys. Some grow amid joyful shouting. And some mature in a silence almost no one sees. What matters is not whether you look like someone else, but whether you are in the place where I have set you. Ask yourself with humility, is what is happening within you drawing you closer to me? Is it making you more truthful? Is it helping you live with greater clarity? Is it making your love purer, your words softer, your steps steadier? If so, you are walking on the right path. Even if there is no applause outside, even if no achievement board has been hung, even if others do not understand why you choose a pace that is slow but sure, I measure you by endurance, not by commotion. I look at the roots before I look at the flowers. I look at integrity in the hidden place before I look at public results. People are often attracted to what shines quickly, but I treasure what can withstand time. Do not trade depth for attention. Do not trade peace for the feeling that you are getting ahead. Do not let the footsteps of others make you forget the voice I have spoken specifically over you. When you remain in the rhythm I give, you may not always be the fastest, but you will not be easily shaken. You may not always be named first, but what I build within you will have the strength to carry you through many seasons. Then there will be times when you are pulled into conversations that touch your old wounds. Someone will say a sentence that makes you want to explain immediately. A situation will make you feel that you must step forward and carry the responsibility so everything can be settled. A misunderstanding will make you want to say many words. Prove everything clearly. Persuade until the end, as if the peace of the whole room depends on whether you can manage everyone else's emotions. But I want to teach you a new ability: pause. Not pausing because you are weak, but pausing because you are learning not to be ruled by the old thing. Not pausing to escape, but pausing so that I may step into the space between you and your reaction. In that pause, I will teach you to distinguish between what needs to be said and what should be held back. There are words that are right, but not yet rightly timed. There are explanations that grow longer and pull you farther from peace. There are battles you are not called to win with your voice, but with stillness in me. Silence is not always defeat. Sometimes silence is the doorway through which wisdom enters. There are times when I will tell you to speak one short, clear, gentle, sufficient sentence. There are times when I will tell you to step away from the conversation until both sides can listen with respect. There are times when I will tell you that you do not need to protect your image before every gaze. Because I know you, and what I know about you is not shaken by a passing misunderstanding. Remember Nehemiah when he rebuilt the wall amid mockery, pressure, and invitations to leave his assignment. There were people who wanted to pull him down from the work he had been given, who wanted him to enter unnecessary meetings, who wanted him to spend his strength answering and explaining. But he discerned that he was doing a great work and could not come down merely to satisfy the call of distraction. Do you see? Not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every criticism requires a defense. Not every conversation comes from me. There are times when your faithfulness is found in continuing to build, continuing to keep your hands on the work entrusted to you, and continuing to let peace stand guard over your mouth. So hold on to what I am teaching you in this season. Set limits before you are drained. Return to my rhythm before comparison pulls you away. And pause before you react. These three things will protect the restoration I have built within you. They will help you love without being swept away. Serve without losing discernment. Speak truth without wounding. Stay silent without swallowing bitterness. Move forward without returning to old cycles. You do not need to live like someone always trying to prove you are good enough, fast enough, strong enough, necessary enough. You belonged to me before you accomplished anything, and you still belong to me when you need rest, need to say no, need adjustment, need silence, and need to slow your steps. I want you to understand that when you say no to what does not belong to you, you are not impoverishing your life, you are protecting what I have sown. A stream that wants to flow far must be kept clear. If people throw too many stones, too many dry branches, too many things that do not belong in it, the water will become muddy, slow, and then lose its original purity. Your life is the same. The life I placed within you needs a clear channel. Every time you take on what is misaligned, only because you fear disappointing others, fear being misunderstood, fear missing out, or want to prove that you are useful, the flow within you is divided into smaller streams. But every time you courageously refuse what is not your portion, you are saying yes to what I have confirmed. And what is placed in proper alignment will have the strength to remain, grow, bear fruit, and carry life farther than you imagine. My light does not make your mission more tangled. Light always simplifies. When I shine, the unnecessary layers of decoration begin to fall away. Beautiful sounding but empty slogans no longer hold their appeal. Goals that exist only to impress others also begin to lose their power over you. You no longer need to make your life appear great in the eyes of others. You only need to live faithfully with what I am placing in your hands. When light enters, it does not add burdens. It separates the true from the false, the central from the secondary, the assigned from the thing merely stirred up by pressure. And then you will see a very clear core appear within your heart. You are called to bring order into places of chaos, to speak truthful words where ambiguity is leading people astray, and to keep peace in places where others hurriedly lose themselves. You do not need to do everything. My beloved child, let this sentence sink deep into you like morning dew into dry ground. You do not need to do everything. I have not entrusted you with everyone's field. I have entrusted you with your portion of land. I do not require you to become the answer to every need. I teach you to become faithful to what I have established. When you embrace too much simply because it seems good, you may forget what truly needs your hands. When you try to be present everywhere, you may lose deep presence in the place where I have called you to stand. When you want to answer every call, you may no longer hear my voice clearly. Therefore, learn the joy of enough. Your portion is not small if I have entrusted it to you. Your portion is not lacking if I have anointed it. Your portion is enough because I am present in it. There will be times when others do not understand your refusal. They may think you have changed, become distant, less enthusiastic, or less willing than before. Do not let that misunderstanding pull you back into the old way of living. Maturity sometimes means you are no longer easily controlled by other people's expectations, and that may make some people uncomfortable. But you must not trade my clarity for temporary comfort. Refuse with a soft heart, with clear words, with respect, but do not refuse and then return to blaming yourself. If I have not entrusted that thing to you, then you do not need to carry it as a spiritual burden. Obedience is not only found in what you receive, obedience is also found in what you lay down. I want you to remember Moses in the days when he sat from morning until evening judging every matter of the people. He loved the people. He carried responsibility. He had a great calling within him, but in the very thing that seemed devoted, he was standing in danger of being crushed by a burden too heavy for one person to carry. Then, through Jethro's counsel, I opened his eyes to a wiser order, to share responsibility, to empower trustworthy people, so that he would not have to carry every dispute, every question, every pressure by himself. Do you see? I do not call overload holy. I do not consider a person exhausted from carrying everything to be a sign of higher faithfulness. Many times, wisdom is not found in doing more, but in knowing how to entrust rightly, divide rightly, stop rightly, and preserve strength for the portion I have truly assigned. From here, you will also feel a new stirring within your heart to give back, but you will give in a different way than before, not from a place of pride, as though you were standing above others to hand down understanding, nor from a place of lack, hoping to be recognized through being useful. You will give from the place of one who has received enough, from quiet gratitude, from maturity that does not need to perform. You will share experience without turning it into a measure by which to judge others. You will guide without taking control of their journey. You will support without placing yourself at the center. You will be present like a lamp set in the right place, bright enough for others to see the way. but not demanding that every gaze be fixed on you. Giving back in the right rhythm is a very beautiful grace. It does not drain you, because it does not come from compulsion. It also does not make you lose your place, because you are not giving in order to prove your position. When you give in peace, your influence expands in a healthy way. Someone will receive a timely word from you and then continue their journey. Someone will learn from your way of life, not through a long sermon, but through your consistency. Someone will be strengthened simply because they see you speak truth and still remain gentle, set boundaries and still remain loving, move slowly without panic, refuse without becoming hardened. This is how light travels far, not loudly, not forcefully, but touching other lives through the purity of one who has learned to remain rightly aligned. Do not be afraid that when you give back, you will be replaced. That is the fear of one who has not yet understood my kingdom. In my ways, when you help others stand firm, you do not lose your value. You reveal your value in a deeper way. When you make room for others to step into their portion, your portion is not diminished. It is confirmed through mature fruit. The one who clings to everything out of fear of loss will gradually become heavy. The one who knows how to give at the right time will become light, generous, and free. I want you to become such a person, not needing to occupy space, not needing to hold power, not needing to make others dependent on you in order to feel important. You can give and then let them grow under my eyes, because I am the one who guides them to the end. So keep walking in this clarity. Let my light continue to sift away what is unnecessary. Soften ambitions that have been mixed with impurity. Remove responsibilities you accepted out of fear, and preserve within you the purest part of your mission. You are called to bring order, but you do not have to control everything. You are called to speak truth, but you do not have to explain until you are exhausted. You are called to remain still, but you do not have to stand in a place where I have not placed you. You are called to give back, but you do not have to lose yourself in that giving. Say no when necessary to protect your most sacred yes. Do your part with joy. Trust that your portion is enough in my hands. And when you live this way, the flow within you will become clearer, deeper, and more enduring. The light I have placed in you will not only illuminate your own path, but will also quietly lead many people back to life, order, and peace.